Okay, for my second video, this is Ted Lilly again, and I'm going to continue talking about Chrome, Google Chrome, the web browser, and here I have it up as we left off last time. This down here, by the way, is just a thing to help out with the screencast. It'll show you what I type in case there's anything you miss and click on and so forth, so don't mind the man behind the curtain there. That's what that is. So, last time I showed you the interface and what all is up here, and I'm going to go into a little more detail on one or two pieces of that, as well as talk about a couple of things that I don't actually like about Chrome, things where it needs improvement in my opinion. And I'm going to show you a couple of the extensions that I really think make a big difference with Chrome. Now, some of those are extensions that exist for Firefox as well, and I'm not trying to diss Firefox or say Chrome is necessarily hugely better. My point here is just to show you a couple of things that I discovered while using Chrome that I didn't necessarily have when I was using Firefox, and that I found really improved the web browsing experience. So first, I'm going to show you on the tab feature here, as we talked about before. Gives you a menu of things, and you can pin them down if you want to keep them. You can get rid of them by hitting the X button. The thing I like about this is that it gives you, a lot of control over the different places that you can quickly and easily go to right after you start up the browser. However, it is also nice for me to be able to see my regular home page to start off with, and one of the great things they did with this experience is that they separated that into two different things. Here in your options, you'll see in the basics that on startup and your home page are two different things. And so on startup, I can tell it to visit a particular page, and I have one called Feedly. We'll talk about that in a moment. And it has a separate concept of a home page. So they're kind of redefining what a home page means. Now, what that means is that when you start a new tab, this is what shows up. And I definitely like the new tab, going to the new tab page, because I've at that point already had Chrome open, and so I'm not interested in seeing my first startup page because I've already gone through it and read it and done my deal for the day with that. So having this split up is a new concept, and it's definitely something I appreciate. The second thing I'm going to talk about are the tabs themselves. As we've opened the new tabs, you may not want to see this in the same window that your initial browser is in. And Firefox does this as well, but they've made it very clean in this implementation. If you want to set up a new window, you just pull a tab off and it rips off into its own window. So I'm going to use my switcher here to show you that these are actually two different windows, and I can choose either one of them. This is not part of Chrome. This view is not part of Chrome. That's my switcher on Windows. But those are two different windows now from what started as one. And now I'm going to pull it back and slap it to the original, as you can see here, and now they are sitting side by side once again in a single window. So that's pretty nice. The other piece I'm going to talk about here is something I don't like about Chrome, and that is it does not have a means of locking your password. So if you're like me, I actually use different passwords on most of the sites that I go to, and I don't always want to have to type those in. So when the browser offers to save those passwords for me, I usually take it up on that offer. In Firefox, I lock down those passwords by using a master password, and what that does is there's this show saved passwords button here. It's similar for Firefox as well, and if I click on that, what that'll bring up is a list of everything it's got saved for me. It won't show the passwords by default, But if I want to inspect it and ask it for what that password is, I can click another button and say show the password for, say, Facebook, and all of a sudden you can see it on my screen. And that's a bad thing, especially when you're walking away from your desktop and you forget perhaps to lock it, and then anybody can walk up to it, have a few clicks here, and see exactly what your login credentials are for any of the sites that you've saved here, including sensitive things like, say, banking and so forth, which I never recommend storing sensitive financial passwords in a browser or in Windows at all. However, even things like Facebook, I really don't want somebody else to have my password to Facebook. So this is something that needs improvement. If they had a master password on this, you would be required to at least put in that password before you were able to inspect what passwords were saved in Chrome for you. Okay, so that's my big nit with Chrome. But I'm good about locking my desktop when I walk away from it, so it's not huge, but they really do need to fix that. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about here are one or two of the extensions. You can find them under the Tools menu, Extensions. This is my other nit with Chrome, is that it sticks some things that you really want to be looking at under a secondary menu. They didn't quite put everything you might want up here. Some of the things up here they could have shoved down here. Zoom, who cares, etc. Anyway, so here are the extensions. I do have a number of extensions. I just don't have them enabled right now. Chrome, Firefox, I think, slows down by the use of a lot of extensions, and Chrome seems to be fairly good about keeping its speed even when it has a lot of stuff loaded. But I would definitely imagine that it eventually would end up getting the weight of a lot of extensions on top of it. So I have what I need here, and I try to keep it just to this stuff. So I'm pretty persnickety about what I will add. A couple I will highlight for you are what I would consider essential are AdBlock, which it was very nice about trimming ads and distracting things, especially the ads that talk to you or make noise. Are very, very annoying on the web, and this does a very good job of stripping those out of the page so you never even see them, and it does it automatically without you having to do anything. Another nit about Google Chrome is that it does not automatically sense RSS subscriptions, RSS feeds on pages, and show you a way to click a button to automatically subscribe to those feeds. If you're not an RSS reader, then you don't need to worry about this. I would imagine only more sophisticated, like people who are really into this, need this kind of function, but it is something that if you use RSS, you really want this feature. And I use Google Reader as an RSS reader, and what this does is it pops a little button up here that says, hey, there's an RSS feed on this, do you want to subscribe to it? So, very simple. IE tab is another thing I'll point out, which is that because Chrome is a different browser, and the browsers are not entirely compatible with each other, sometimes you will run across a page that will say, hey, I don't support Chrome, you need to come visit me using IE or something like that. And what this does is gives you a button here that will actually run IE within the window of Chrome, and so you can click that button and poof, that same page will reload as if it were in IE, because it's just in your window, so you don't have to go hunting for Internet Explorer and starting it up. iReader is the thing I will show you here, and is one of my new favorites. And what it does is it takes pages that have content on them, and it strips out all the clutter and presents it to you in a very nice readable format. And so I'm going to enable this right now. One of the nice things about Chrome as well is you can find more extensions down here and install them, and you don't need to restart the browser like you do with Firefox, which is kind of a nice thing. So iReader is enabled, so I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go to CNN and take a look at what's in the news here. And what I'll see as you enable extensions, and as you can see, I do not have the AdBlock extension on, so I'm getting ads. In fact, let's go ahead and let's turn that back on. Alright. So let's reload this page. And let's see what I get. Oh, isn't that pretty? So, for the most part, the ads are gone. And that's nice because there's a lot less stuff just trying to get your attention. But it's still not, I mean, there's still a lot of stuff here on the left and right, and really I want to read this article. I don't want to look at anything else, and this font is not doing it for me. It's a little small. When iReader sees a page that it can help you with, it pops an icon up here, and when you press that, all of a sudden you're looking at just the content of the article in a format that looks as if you're printing it on a page here. So as you can see, it's bigger, it's formatted to only fit within basically eyesight. This is the comfortable reading width for your eyes to scan across before it wants to wrap around to the next line, as opposed to you know, having to read all the way across the screen, which is not ergonomically suitable for your eyes. This is a nice, large, high contrast, known font and presentation, and so you can read the whole thing. And if I'm reading long articles in tiny fonts on a page like Wikipedia is not a great layout, this has been a lifesaver for me. I think it's as good as sliced bread. So that's it for kind of a secondary look at Chrome, and I'm going to leave you there, and hope you found some stuff you like. Thanks, and this is Ted.